Terrific stuff. I mean, I'm sure he's referred to it as godless communism, which is also correct. Joining us now, Ben Domenech, Fox News contributor, and Florida Congressman Byron Donalds, running a great race for governor of Florida. Gentlemen, thank you ever so much. Byron, I mean, this Mondami socialist stuff or communist stuff, I don't know what it is. Trump is right to crusade against it, it seems to me. But he's one of the few who's really pounding these kinds of bigotry with the anti-Semitism. You have to pound it down before it spreads and metastasizes. That's why I'm so glad he's doing this.
No, he's absolutely correct. You have to stand up to anti-Semitism and bigotry in every form. You have to do it all the time. But then you couple it with their terrible economic policy, Larry. I mean, it doesn't even make any sense. It didn't make sense when Mamdani was saying it in the campaign to be the mayor of New York. Now he's starting to do some of the stuff. It's not making any sense at all. And you're starting to see New York, Colorado, I believe it was last night. Now you're seeing the true radicals in the Democrat Party take over this party. And look, they're getting rid of people who were already radical, but they're saying you're not radical enough. That's how far left the Democrats have gone into socialism, into communism, and what it requires is the conservative movement in the Republican Party to stand firm against it.
And Byron just served with Dan Goldman, who just lost. He is no moderate. Like he is a liberal. He is far on the left, but he lost because of this game that they are playing, scapegoating Jews, going after people with these pie-in-the-sky promises about what socialism can deliver for them. And it's all lies. And we have decades of the left lying to all of these people, an entire generation. It's all these people who are my younger friends and people like that who have been sucked into this stuff.
Do they have any power in your estimation? Do they have any real, or is it just niche stuff, low turnout, ultra blue states?
I do not actually believe that niche explanation really translates. I think that you can say politics is local and these are local elections, et cetera. But the truth is, I think that they are the driving force within a decrepit Democrat Party that doesn't actually have policies that deliver on its promises, a weak Democrat establishment that can't control the people who are crazy within their midst, and they are going to take it over. And look, I'm seeing this direction going, and I hate it because we need to have capitalism can't be a monopartisan affair, Larry.
Listen, slight thing. I think the Democrats have always been radical. Ben is right. Their policies have been terrible. The problem now is that people are seeing that the Democrats' policy agenda is ineffectual. And so what their belief is that you now have to dump capitalism completely and go further to the left into socialism and, quite frankly, into communism.
I can't believe
that's the scary part.
I can't believe that has popular support. I just can't. I mean, maybe I'm naive. I cannot believe. Here, I had Mike Johnson on, led the show. He wants Reconciliation Bill 3.0 with tax cuts and spending cuts and the voter ID reform. Okay, he said it to me straight up and down. Now that to me is the antidote to all this anti-Semitic socialist poison. Well, good policies beat bad policies.
But I think it has to be more than that. And I think, look, you're running a race, and so you I'm sure see this stuff happening on social media. Social media is being used to infect the minds of younger voters to a greater degree than we've ever seen before. There is a horde of people, including paid influencers, who are out there, depicting Mamdani as this, effortlessly cool guy who's going to solve all your problems. They are taking that and they're exporting it across the country. And I think that it is resonating with people who do not have the defenses that you would have if you've been educated the way that Larry Kudlow would be teaching them.
Well, I tell you, I think, maybe it is education. Byron, the president is that GOP will hold a midterm convention in Dallas.
Right.
I think it's a good idea. I mean, if it's used properly, like the Milwaukee convention was fabulous, and the messaging was very popular. Now, can you duplicate that in this midterm thing?
Oh, we absolutely can. But now it's not about what we were campaigning on in 2024. It's about what we've accomplished moving into 2026 and what needs to happen going forward. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, largest tax on Social Security in American, tax cut on Social Security in American history, secure borders, foreign policy successes, price stability in the country, wages up, adjusted for inflation. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And now it's a contrast between what we have been able to accomplish with President Trump back in the White House to what the Democrats did to this country 3 years ago. Like, it only was 3 years ago. I just saw Secretary Rollins and Secretary McMahon out in the hallway, and I was telling them, you guys have done a phenomenal job as secretaries of these agencies. Compared to the previous administration under Biden and Harris, it was awful. But every American knew it was awful. So this convention is about celebrating the successes we've had the last 18 months.
Potential
That's
for
exactly
a real
right.
bullhorn. You buy it?
Democrats are counting on Americans to have the memory of a goldfish, that they do not consider the things that we were experiencing 3 years ago. And I think it's very important to cut through the BS and actually send a message about what's been accomplished, because they've been very good things. I just think that, what comes out of this needs to be a real focus on a unified effort. The Republicans need to unify. They can't have this kind of chipping at each other over different issues. They need to unify in order to have a chance to buck historical trends.
Welcoming. Welcome, supporter. Welcome. Come on in. Come on in.
Yeah.
We're the good guys. We're going to help the prosperity. We're going to help your security. Come on in. Join us. That's what I want to see. Join us. And you're right. List the successes.
I think the president can do that. I think Byron will probably be on stage in Dallas.
He's going to be governor of Florida. I think that's a historic thing. I think it's really something.
Well, one, thank you. But two,
I'm going
Larry,
partisan on this because I know you. You've been a guest on this show for years. You're very well versed in all these issues. You work hard. I think it's phenomenal.
Larry,
the Republican
it is about
Party
protecting
is
the
lucky
Florida
to have you.
Well, no, listen. First of all, I'm honored to be here. But this is about protecting the Florida dream. Florida's the best state in the country. We're not going to stop. It's about the thing that people have been chasing all across America. They come to Florida for it. We want to build on what Governor DeSantis has done. Keep the thing going. He's done a great job.
He was a lousy presidential candidate, but he's a very good governor. You guys are fabulous. Ben Domenech, Congressman Byron Donalds, going to call him governor soon. Coming up, we're going to talk some more. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness with Education Secretary Lyndon McMahon, who's re-educating the country, and Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins, who's reorienting all farmers and small businesses and ranchers. And I'm Kudlow. We'll be right back.